I think the Kenya Kwanza government must ask themselves one question. When did the rain beat them? Yesterday, an incident happened when there was a public mass requiem for the 6 victims of the ill-fated plane crash in Mosop constituency, Nandi County, including Emurua Dikiir Member of Parliament, Johana Ngeno. And one particular thing that stood out was when former Nandi Member of Parliament, Alfred Keter, took to the podium to address the mourners at Emurua Dikiir Primary. Before even he spoke, there was wild cheers upon just grabbing the microphone in front of very big influential Kenya Kwanza leaders, the likes of Kinasudi, the likes of John Mandago, the likes of Kiborek, the likes of Senator Sigei. These are President William Ruto foot soldiers. What message were they learning when Alfred Keter took to the podium to talk to mourners? One particular thing at that point, before even reaching the center, at one particular point, Alfred Keter made a stopover, and one-time chants automatically erupted during that time.
Betuni kia gotini kwa kinyo Eldoret. Watinyo kwa bitu shindi. Auki kwa biga big checha. Biga bigi ronge no la chamo. Amungeno. Amangala kamugarani.
And it carries me to ask myself many questions. Is it that the Kalenjin people are now dissatisfied with President Ruto's regime? Is it that the Kalenjin community are tired of President Ruto? What is happening? That is the question I'm asking. The humiliation that the Kenya Kwanza MPs faced yesterday is because of the unanswered questions that surrounds the death of Emurua Dikiir Member of Parliament, Johana Ngeno. As you know, Johana Ngeno has always been on the far front to defend his community, the Kipsigis. He had also propagated something about kingpinship. I think that things did not start well with a number of MPs who are now currently working with President William Ruto. Despite that, they are now telling us that President Ruto used to depend on Johana Ngeno as is one of his pillars. But the question is, how? When there are reports that Johana Ngeno, when he was going to these functions of empowering artists across Rift Valley, to even an extent of going to Kapchorwa in Uganda, no one was allowed to associate with him, except some who are now called Kriamiti, wale wafanyiti nye wanataka. They're in the last lap of their time. Somebody like Mandago. Mandago could accompany him, not because, but because yana maliza. But the question is, will the answers or will the questions asked by Alfred Ketere be answered by President William Ruto today? What might have transpired? What is happening with Kipsigi's leaders? Those who want to chant their way out, to speak for their people, are always ending their life in a different circumstances way. Joyce Laboso died in a plane crash. Kipkalia Kones died in a plane crash. Now, Johana Ngeno, why is it Kipsigi's leaders always die on plane crash? That is the question that Kenyans and the people of Emurua Dikiir are asking themselves.
Waliwasoma gani? Walieta Emurua Dikirr onge nalekio bunu. Enge nyita 2007. Onge lago tegi kibar. Onge ndarati tegi kibar. Amaja muite amore gele. Amunda mote Ngeno damami. Kwasi sasa nigegure Emurua Dikirr. Wanya sa magmurene kingebe. Ogase?
What might have happened? What did Johana Ngeno did bad that costed his life? In that context, taking to that context is that the Captain Jojuere has an experience of 30 years, and in his record, no day has he made a mistake. It's only this one. Was it a sacrifice? Or was it a way of covering things up for the kingpinship? Taking in this context that 2027 election is coming. There are people who are fighting to replace President William Ruto kingpinship come 2027, 2032. Because when President Ruto retires from active politics, who will lead the Kalenjin nation? And Johana Ngeno had set his foot front that I'm the best choice, that I can lead these people. Those are some of the things that we expect the president and the government of the day to answer. Then, kama sio hiyo, one term is the slogan.